intro and outro.
Huh.
Would be nice, but it's kind of not our style. That's the we like way too casual man, with that stuff. So I like. Yeah, but because we basically start the same way, like welcome or like we always like episode, bam, and then welcome to this. Does actually somebody say welcome to Officially Casually?
Welcome to Officially Casually.
Welcome.
Where we look at
now we
cat photos
yeah.
for breakfast.
But
that's our intro today.
Yeah, I think
that's also the title for this episode now.
Okay.
I hate cats.
I love it.
No. Okay, you need to cut that part. I do not enjoy cat nearly as much as most people.
Dogs.
Okay. No, I didn't say dogs. Hey, I didn't say dogs. I just said as other people. Like that's it.
If we had 2 subscribers, we maybe just lost one.
I can enjoy a cat. I just don't enjoy cat as much as other people. Please don't send me death threats.
Okay. Let's just begin.
I thought we had already.
We did it. We forgot. Wow, success.
In that case, welcome to episode 8 of Officially Casually.
Officially Casually. If you take 8 and you put it horizontally, it's like little glasses or the infinity symbol. There we go.
Infinity, exactly. I thought the same thing, man. It's the infinity thing.
Why does 8 get to be infinity? Like what? Because the world was built in 7 days, and then there's like another day, so that day has to be infinity because it's not part of the 7. Okay, I already answered my question. I don't want to get religious again.
Nah, man. Like the infinity thing because, like it goes in a circle. No, it doesn't go in a circle. It goes in the 8.
Yeah, but it like loops over itself. Yeah, so
right.
Doesn't start anywhere. It doesn't end anywhere. Although no one says that 0 is infinity, and 0 is like more infinity than 8.
Because 0 doesn't do a cool loop in the middle. 0 fucking sucks. 0 is like a NASCAR race. You just watch it 100 laps, and you're just wondering why you're not more drunk.
Yeah, but the infinity thing, what I like about the 8 is actually when you look at it, it's kind of leaving its boundaries. By like escaping the circle, but then entering a different circle, and that one catapults it back to the other circle again. If you would follow like with a finger around it.
I can see
so
that.
It was like it's like I'm kind of leaving this plane, and then just like to go to one that's similar or it's the same, and then get thrown back to the one that I started. It's
like it's not just like the loop, but it's also like transition and coming back and going right,
and the crossroads between those transitions and all that.
What happens there? What happens at the crossroad actually? Do things bump into each other? Would they, if they would like go like through that whole loop thing, do things bump into each other? I'm depending, right? They could.
Kind of where I feel like, go for it.
I would just feel like, if that would be the case, that something is actually following that loop, that would bump infinitely often into each other. I would never learn about it. Like, never learn from it. And just keeping bumping into each other.
Where my mind kind of went is that when you get to the crossroads, if you kind of keep going with the shape of the infinity, it's almost like a smooth ride, right? But if you wanted to go on any of the other 2 directions, or if you want to kind of like, I guess where I'm going is, you can either like keep kind of going with the loop, and that would be a smooth ride, and also if you stay on your same circle, that would also be a smooth ride. But if you wanted to enter the other circle in the opposite way, you would have to like make a full stop, So that would also be, I guess, like a an example of life that you can stay in your circle forever, and that will be like painless to some degree. But also, if you're in the zone, you can move in between different areas of yourself or different circles, and it's gonna be a smooth ride. But it's when you maybe forcibly try to reach the other circle that you do need to like make a full stop, and that's when maybe things get hectic. I made all that up on the spot.
Yeah. Now that I know, I was trying to think about it. Like, you know, I need a minute to think about that before I can throw something back.
Actually, Infitiy is displayed in many things. Like, I think about programming and overflow, which is like when you take a number, let's say it's a byte, and it's one of the many data types, and if you go over, the maximum is 256, 255, and negative 255. And if you go over 255, it goes back to negative 255. And maybe that's kind of what I thought with the 7 days thing. Like, if you go over 7, so you go into 8, but 8 does not exist, so it goes back into 1, or into 1, because there are not 7 negative days. Huh? You imagine like a different zone, like the negative zone.
It's the 7 days where God was like preparing, where he was getting like the what's it called, the when you make an invention and you have to protect it.
Perfected?
Patent.
Wait, no. Yeah. He's like getting the patents ready and all that with the 7 days before, and he's talking to the lawyers, hiring people, and then the 7 days of work.
Wait a second. So you think that God had to apply for a patent for the world?
Yeah.
Nice.
To who?
Yeah. Who knows? To other gods? But then that would be the thing that there's like only one.
Maybe he is the one that made the other ones. It's like the Greek pantheon where like Zeus is at the top, but Zeus still has to take everyone else's shit, even though he's everyone's dad. So maybe it's something like that, where that's just kind of like the relationship they have.
Yeah, which is
he just doesn't know about patents. That's just outside of his realm.
It's like, but again, self-awareness, right? Like, he knows, like, I'm good in creating the universe and all the shit, but like, patent, like the loyal fuck, like the paper shit, like, I just cannot handle that.
All these forms, like, Jesus.
Right, like, who wants to fill that shit out? Like, look.
Nobody. Exactly. Nobody wants to fill that shit out.
I can imagine him going to a lawyer. Look, man, Jeff. I can create your sun. I can create you a universe and stars and everything. But please, man, don't make me like read this whole contract, man. Like, just do you do your shit. I do my shit, and like, that's it, man. I don't want to do anything. I'm just tell me where to sign. Just tell me where to sign. Like, you're gonna send the lightning bolt.
I think lawyers will officially we will want to upsell you on getting a divorce or something, because it's an easier case than fucking a patent. It's much more fun. Like, don't you want to get a divorce? Don't you want to like sue a company? Really? Do you want me to read a patent? Oh my god. I think they will upsell you on something else, because it's awful. I think it's like the worst job. But actually, I want to say something about, you mentioned self-awareness. I'm like, well, if he's the only God, then maybe he's just patenting against himself. Maybe there's too many things going on up there that he's like, well, maybe I try to take myself out of business or something. Like, you never know. So that's what I thought, actually. If he's the only one, then he only has to be wary of himself. And there's like this saying that the first rule is that you must not be fooled, and you are the first rule is you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool, or something like that. I would look for it. I really like that one.
Now I have to go back to what Rafa said in the beginning. When he said the infinity loop with, like, for like life, when you said when you stay in your lane, you go like smoothless, or smoothful,
Smoothly.
smoothly.
I like smoothful.
Yeah, smoothful sounds amazing.
I was like, wait a second, isn't it? I
You
like
should
smoothly.
patent that.
Yeah. Or coins. Like mixing words, man, I fucking love it. Okay, so if you stay in your lane, so okay, here's the thing. I really love that. What I add to it is like that life itself is like infinity game in a finite time. So what I mean by that is, when life starts, you have to transition from one thing to the next thing. So like first you go to kindergarten, or like pre-kindergarten, then kindergarten, then you go like first class, primary school, 2, 3, 4, whatever, then you go middle school, high school, and it's always like kind of like here are 6 months of this, then summer break, then here's 6 months of this, then summer or winter break, then here's a year of this, and it's always like a new beginning and a new end. But that's actually basically just like a construct upon life, because life, once it starts with life, with getting born, it ends with dying. So it's basically like for that 75 years, it never stops, and it's like always like like a smooth thing. It just rolls. It just rolls. But what we do is actually we try to put things on it. With like now we have a time period for this and a time period for that, and etc etc etc. So we split our years in parts instead of seeing it as like one long thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that's one of, maybe it's not infinite, but like what I mean. It's like the
Smoothful.
Yeah.
Experience of life.
Yeah, exactly. The smoothful experience of life. I kind of want like that kind of went from my head.
Yeah, like I'm with you in, and if we think about, you are going around on this 8 loop, and then you stop to change like course, instead of like going kind of down or whatever into the next loop, you go up, but then you go back into a loop like immediately, right? Like there's not being out of this loop. There's just like the illusion of like, oh, I will take this different path, but you go back and you're still on this loop, and you're still in the same loop. You didn't change loop. There's no, maybe now you're taking it from a different direction, but you're still like, it's still life. It's still flow. It's still just maybe trusting the universe, and taking on this grand, this experience of
what you just said like fucked me really up, because it triggered something in my head that actually all the like the loop, the big loop, we have a lot of sub loops. Think about that.
There's
like
infinities within infinity.
Exactly, man. Because like think about like when I was today thinking about my old work, I was like working 8.5 years in one company, my first company, when I started working there, from 16 till 24, something like that. And it was basically, sure, different things happen in the company, but it was basically every day the same routine, going to work, doing this thing, going back home, blah, blah, standing up, getting some breakfast, going to work, doing the shit there for 8 hours, going back home, taking a shower, meeting with my friends, going out, doing party, going late to bed, standing up in the morning, breakfast, going back to work, etc. So it always like loop, like there was like the loop of work, right? And then I had like another sub loop, which was like with my ex-girlfriend, for example. Like like after work, I would go to her. I would go to her, whatever time, blah blah. I go back home, go to work. Then after work, I go again to her. Like so I have like this other loop there, and then I have this other small loop, which is in the morning I stand up, I go to the toilet, I do my thing.
The morning, the poop loop, they call that one. Yes, I've heard about it.
But when I think about it, it's actually there's like all these loops, man, in this big loop, which is life, man. And I don't know, man. And it's like sometimes you like like you're so transitioned into one loop that it's very hard to get into the next one. Because like changing, for example, your life for our cases, like when I left my case, when I left Austria to go to China to do kung fu, I had to leave my old loop. And now when you think about it, because you're like, when you say it's hard to break habits and like to get out of your life, of course it's hard, because you're like in this like fixed pathway, like this fixed loop, and try, you have to change it, you have to stop, right? You have to stop and then get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a time of transition where you don't go through a loop, where you just go through like, like I don't know, like some shaky ground and wild grass, and don't ask me, like, some unsmooth terrain, until you get to the next loop, which is then again smooth, full.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Do you get it? Do you get it? Maybe I'm getting to you like too abstract with the whole thing.
Yeah, no. I think I get it, and I'm also thinking. I was watching this show, and there were two characters talking, and like way before in the show, they were kind of like at odds with each other, and they almost like killed each other, and a bunch of stuff kind of happened. But now they were talking again. And they were kind of like fighting for the same side, and one of them stops and looks at the other one, and he's like, hey, sorry for he's essentially gonna say like, hey, sorry for like everything that happened before. And then the second character kind of interrupts him, and he's like, no, because everything you did led you here, and here is what you need to be. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking with kind of like this infinity metaphor, that you might have those moments in which maybe you have that job that isn't working out for you, or I don't know, maybe you have a habit that you don't like about yourself and it isn't working out for you, or anything like that. That doesn't mean that you're like in a bad loop, like overall. It just means that for that spot you're just in a situation where you're seeing that there's maybe like room for improvement. But way later down the line, whatever decision you make about that habit is gonna play into getting you to where you need to be. So it's like, yeah, in the short term, it might look bad, but then in the long term, it's like, oh, isn't that nice that kind of happened, because now I know exactly what it is to be in the situation. I can like maybe help other people, or not, or maybe recognize it so it doesn't happen again, and that kind of stuff.
It's like it's kind of what the conclusion that I arrive whenever I have to argue myself out of thinking that there's no pure evil in the world, and whenever I bring that up to anybody, and I just say, you can't see the whole picture, you can't, and that's just it. Like, you can't. Yes, some things really fucking suck. Like come on, I'm not gonna say like all these kind of things that have been going on, explosions, bombs, terrorist attacks, whatever that you may call them, like they fucking suck. But you can't see like these are small blotches in this tapestry of history of humans, and many things have happened of all kinds, that led us to be here now. And some of us can be like, wow, I'm having a great, beautiful life. But, maybe, everything that happened to get here, if we're talking about murders or stuff like that, like things that you could consider completely vile, but there's still people who can find the beauty in life and stuff like that. And you just can't see the whole picture. You have to kind of trust the loop, and just go with it and flow and try to see the good in things and accept. Maybe you don't have to see the good in it, but
man.
Go for it.
Go for. Okay, I just want to say, because you said like you can't see the whole picture, and then you said like you have to trust the loop, or like the whole. It's very interesting, because when you look at history, things tend to repeat again and again and again, and it's very, very interesting, like that again, when you look at history and everything, like, we went through so many wars and all this shit, and but we also had like technological breakthroughs in technology and whatever, so the things repeat, but at the same time they have just like a different like layer on it, that it looks differently. How to put, like, when you do a software, right? You put up upon it like a different skin layer, right?
Yeah.
It's but it's the same thing. It's just a different. It just looks differently. In Serbia, we have the saying, "Isto sranje, drugo pakovanje," which means same shit, just a different package.
Wait, did you say in Dovraki?
No, in Serbia.
In Serbia.
Dothraki.
It sounds amazing. I'm sorry.
Dothraki.
It sounds really amazing. I've never.
Yeah, in Dothraki, like in Isteros, we have to say.
Now that you say that, it did sound really cool.
It sounds really cool. Could you repeat? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to delay.
Isto sranje, drugo pakovanje.
Yeah, that second part definitely does sound
like
like
the first part means like isto sranje means same shit. Drugo pakovanje means different package.
Same shit, different package.
Same shit, different package, right? So like but again, like if you go through the loop and you look at history, so like let's say Europe was fantastic in waging war. They were like Europeans are really fucking good at that. When you look like like Italy waged war, and Macedonia with like Alexander the Great, all these people had like war shit going on, and then you think it's like different, but it's not. It's just like like, oh, now it's on this side, now it's on this side, now it's on this side.
Yeah.
But it's like it's repeating, but it's just also changing location, and by changing location, it changes kind of the package that it comes with.
It changes the scenery.
Yeah, the scenery and like like the layer upon it, so it looks different, but it's like deep down in the core, it's not. It's like the same shit, like people want more territory, people want resources, people want security, blah blah, and there's also this innate thing for cruelty and just being fucked up and fucking up other people. There's because some people gain pleasure out of it, doing shit like that. So there's also like that plays also like a role, and like the getting power and being on the top of the hierarchy and all the shit. So things tend to repeat, man. And when you said the stuff with the terrorist stuff, you're right. It's horrible, like, right? It's like super sad and horrible. At the same time, when you look at the big picture and you try to look at it, you look at history and everything, it's really just a small splash, even though it's like fucked up to say, because like real people died with real families and relatives, and there were children and sons and mothers and fathers. They are small compared to what everything else goes on in the world, and the media is just really fucking good at pointing out the shittiest parts.
Mm-hmm. Or the parts that you should focus your attention on.
Yeah, but makes money.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking, like one of the in the topic of like evil, that one of the things that people usually think about is Hitler. But if you go through history, there've been people who've done, arguably worse stuff, but no one ever talks about them, and no one ever considers the fact that Hitler, there's no way he was running like all the concentration camps. There were a lot of people who were doing the work that we attribute as evil to him. And so at the same time, I definitely agree that we have such a superficial view on events, and even more importantly on the long-term effect of events, that it's really hard for you to be able to objectively say, hey, this is like an evil thing that the world would have been better without, because you can't really know that. You can't really for sure know that. And this topic kind of reminds me of a really cool idea I heard from I think it was Terrence McKenna, in which he's saying that we have this huge fear for like nuclear weapons and all these things, and we're so convinced that humanity's purpose is to like destroy the planet because that's kind of like where we're headed. But he gives the example that some decades ago, a meteorite big enough to just fucking annihilate the planet flew past the Earth, and we didn't realize that the meteor happened until like 2 days later. So had the meteor like hit, we would have been gone, and we wouldn't have known what would have happened. But what if all of nature is really like this whole, it's really like a planned thing, and what we're doing and the technology that we're developing, it's like Earth essentially building like a defense for itself. That maybe in a few years there's going to be a meteorite that's going to come straight at us, and we're going to need all this technology and all these rockets that can go into space and all these nukes to actually level that thing off. Because if it doesn't, we are gone and the planet is gone too. So that we have almost like this disconnect from nature, as if we were not a part of it. But who knows if we are just as part of the Earth as the Earth itself. That we're just kind of like almost like a like the antibodies in your system.
Yes.
Fuck, man, that gave me just chills.
That sure, the antibodies sometimes like attack things that they shouldn't, and they kind of fuck shit up. But in general, you're way better off with them around than without them. So who knows? I feel, and I feel like ideas like that again kind of come from the topic that we spoke about, where suspending, I guess, the belief and common knowledge almost allows you to look at things differently. Also, like looking at humanity like that maybe we're just like an ingrained part of nature, and all this stuff that seems good or seems evil is just nature. It's just there's none of either.
Hmm.
The meteor thing reminds me of like this belief that humans have since the Greek times, that we are going to be the ones to destroy ourselves. Like there's this meteor going around and we don't even notice it because we're too busy thinking, no, we are going to blow ourselves up, all right? Like a meteor is not a problem, it's us. Like it kind of reflects back to the pessimism, to the cardinal pessimism, maybe in human consciousness or something. Like I don't think a deer thinks he's going to be the reason he will die, but like there's something in us that we will create the thing that will destroy us. It's a common theme in Greek, not philosophy, maybe theater or just literature, that we so but in a way, maybe no, maybe we are the thing that will save us from like things that are actually from the outside, like meteors or giant space worms. Who knows?
Giant space centipedes.
I fucking I love it. If that would be like the case, and let's say somebody from the outside would try to come and attack Earth, then you can be sure if somebody from the outside would come, like Earth is gonna bond together, because we pissed at each other for whatever reasons, but like if somebody from the outside, like no, every like no, like there will be the moment where humanity will be like, this is what we waited for. Unleash all the fucking nukes.
Everybody is back together. I could almost see. Go ahead.
Fuck! If that will be the case, let's say aliens or something like that would come, and they would try to attack Earth. Man, I don't know if we would survive it, but man, we would give them like fucking hell. Because like all the weapons that we have actually of the planet, man, is actually fucking crazy and insane, man. Fuck.
I was thinking, I would imagine like that meeting at the UN.
Yes.
When they're like, well, aliens are here, and it's kind of bad that we signed that treaty that forced us to destroy all our nukes, and then you just hear someone in the background just cough, and then everyone's like, Okay, so I might actually have or two of those left.
Oh, yeah, me too. Actually,
We actually just found one the other day, so we can just start this, and when they actually fire, it's like billions of like nukes.
Billion more nukes than people.
A firework.
I can almost see
man.
like the picture in my mind of like the all the leaders putting their hands together like to the sky, and then the hand lowers into a big red button and and you know, like, as long as they have a face, you know, like I feel like if we get attacked by aliens, they have to have kind of they can be like cubes, you know, like big cubes that
Oh fuck. Yeah.
That would be like, we can understand this, like we don't know if we should hate them, but if they look even like slightly human, I think we'll be like, okay, let's destroy these fucking guys. How dare they? Like, they have to look, they can't be too abstract, you know, they can't be like just ideas that would come to destroy us, because then I don't know how we would fight that. But if they look like we can blow them up, whew.
It would be enough if they would come, they look like us and have just a slightly different skin color. Maybe a little bit greenish. I guarantee you that would be enough for people to be like, okay, let's fuck these motherfuckers up. I have no fucking clue. Yeah, they're saying they're coming in peace, whatever. We know, we watch enough movies.
Man,
you know,
I've had this, and I've spoken to Edward about it. This idea for like a movie in my mind for a bit, and there's like two factions of essentially humans, but one of them has like maybe they have like tattoos or like something very, very superficial, but to the people in that world, like they cannot tell that they're anything like related, you know. But then for the people watching, they would look pretty much the same. And I wonder, you know, how different really would aliens need to be for us to be like, nope, fuck you.
Not
you know, would it take just like a pimple or like an eye that just like it's a little squirted or something? You know, I feel like it would take so little that we would be like, nope, they're completely different. Bomb them.
Man, longer throats, longer something like that, like or longer fingers. Just give them like 5 centimeters.
Oh
like,
shit, dude!
Just a little bit longer fingers. That's already like that, like, you know, like or like make the fingers like all the same height, like, you know, length. Just same length. That would be enough.
Oh shit, that will look fucking terrifying, dude.
Yeah, right? Reason enough.
I just looked at my hands and I tried to picture like how the thumb would look if it was like as long as the other fingers. I was like, oh fuck, this looks terrifying.
Oh
no. Yeah, it looks like making. Oh fuck, yeah.
Yeah, so if you put all your fingers together, if it would make like a perfect like rectangle, that's what we don't want.
Holy shit, man! No,
that's what we don't want in this world.
Again, enough. It would be enough reason to bump the shit out of them.
And they're like, "Hey, no, this is a sign of ascendance. We can show you guys the way." And we're like, no, we don't want that shit.
We don't want ascendance. Just keep your crummy fingers.
We're gonna be like, look, man, I understand that you want to show us your way, but we've waited so long to unleash all this shit that we have on this planet, man. I'm sorry, man. Like, ascending or fucking partying? Like, we're humans, man. You came to the wrong planet if you really had this hope.
Actually, if you came here, you must not be really smart, so.
Yeah. It's gonna be fucking disco, man. But to bring it back to the notion what Rafa said, you know, like that, you know, sometimes bad things lead to good things, right? Because you don't know, like, this bad thing that happened in the past could lead to something. When he told the story with the two people, that one is like, you know, like saying sorry for what happened, and he's like, you know, don't be sorry because that led you to this point. So even when something would happen, like, you know, like a destructive thing, it would basically lead us somewhere else. Like the World War II, thanks to World War II, that was the point where, like, people in Europe decided to do the EU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the European Union is basically, why the European Union actually started to exist?
I don't know exactly the details.
So the history behind it is, like, it's quite simple. It's basically an experiment. Because people had enough of waging war with each other, and again, Europeans are really fucking good at it. Because we have, like, thousands of years of history with that shit, right?
Yes.
And so in Europe at one point after World War II, they were like, what? Let's make a pact. And then when they started, like, doing the EU shit, the idea was this: combining the economics with each other. So intertwining the economic parts of each country with each other, so that if one country would start waging war against the other one, they basically would fuck themselves up. Right, they would, like, their own economy would like suffer under it. And so that was basically kind of the idea behind the EU, just like getting so intertwined with each other that trying to get out of it, or trying to, fuck somebody else up. It would fuck you up, and plus, if you try to fuck somebody else up, the others would stand together and protect. So that's the kind of idea behind you, and it was an experiment, man, and so far it worked. Since World War II, we didn't fuck each other up. We had no wars against each other. Before World War II, we had World War One. There was, like, just like years before that, when Austria, when Serbia, when the Duke of Austria was killed in Serbia, and that kind of, like, started World War One. So yeah, again, like, so the good thing that came out of the whole shit with the wars was actually the EU, and man, the EU is actually really fucking amazing, man. Even though, like, sometimes doesn't get enough credit for it.
I heard that like the UK is now, like, out of it or trying to be out. Yeah,
they're trying since 2 years, man. It's
but it's too hard. It's super complicated. Like they were not prepared for that kind of paperwork, right? Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. So it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right,
they are
right.
too intertwined.
It's like marriage, man.
I tell you what, any lawyer would take Brexit before taking a freaking patent. Tell you that much.
Man, Brexit. No, Brexit is, like, probably the biggest headache for the politicians in Britain that they ever had to go through. Because since 2 years they're trying to make a deal, and there's so far nothing. And they wanted to get out last month. They didn't manage, and I think they prolonged till June or something to get out again. To try, like, to just buy some time to come up with a deal that works. I have no fucking clue if they actually now left or not. But it's, again, like, so, but that's the reason, like, if it would be, like, easy to leave, then, like, you would, like, fall apart very fucking easily, and then, then you're not, again, like, bound together, and then it would be easy to fight with each other. And now with Brexit lifts, a lot of people, you can travel and work free through the EU if you EU citizenship. And so when England leaves, then all the people suddenly from Austria that in the EU are basically, they need a visa now. Or are illegal there. Whatever. And the other way around too. So, but again, like, depending on the deal they come out with. So like, the whole thing is super complicated. But that's politics, man, and I don't really want to intervene in it. The good thing is, like, like, it's not easy to leave. And it shouldn't be easy to leave. Because if it would be easy, man, then no like, point. Again, I wouldn't, and together, man, it's just like together you're stronger, man, than alone. Even the problem is with humans, and it's the same with relationships, sometimes we go for fucking hard periods, and they can go really long, and then you don't see, like, a light at the end of the tunnel, and then it makes sense to break up, right? But here's the thing, if you stick with it, at one point, that's gonna pass. are just gonna fucking pass, but you don't know how long it's gonna take until you get like to the point where it's like, okay, now we're good again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, I wonder, because I there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe it should be easy for people to leave. You know, maybe people should be able to like go, or countries, I guess, in the scale that we're talking about, should be able to like go their own way if they wanted to.
Mhm.
But I guess kind of what I'm like thinking about it more. I feel like lately I'm moving towards this idea of independence, where it's not independence as in you are your own, like it's just you in the world, but more like an independence of it's you being yourself, but you're still kind of like collaborating with everyone else around you. And I wonder if, for things like this, that there's a huge benefit in countries like banding together, but
Mhm.
maybe like the what would be closer to an even better solution would be countries still being like themselves, or being able to like uh, try things out for themselves, and all that kind of stuff, but still being kind of like part of the family. That even if the UK leaves, it would still be like like still having like a sibling come over during like the family gatherings and all that stuff. That it wouldn't be like, oh, like a divorce, in the sense that people like get divorced and then they don't talk anymore or anything like that, but more like
Yeah.
just your family member just moving to the house next door instead of living in your house.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's the idea that the United what's the name? I'm sorry, I feel so
United
ignorant.
European Union.
The Union, the European Union,
Mm.
shit. That's kind of the idea of it, like, because what I've heard, because I have a good friend who's from Poland, and he's the one that's actually introduced me to all of this. And to me, it's like, yeah, they get to move through the countries. They can work in different countries, like without a lot of trouble and stuff like that. And yeah, like that. Like in paper, it sounds really good to me. Like, I don't know really like the results of everything because I haven't explored that, but it's. I wonder if it's similar to that. Like, yeah, you can be you, but then you have or well, there's some rules that they, I guess, have to abide by, some laws. So immigration, stuff like that.
It's fantastic, man. Like, like when I think back, the only country I needed like a passport was basically when I go to Serbia or Switzerland. It was like the two countries, I mean, when I have to pass Hungary, and Hungary when I go to Serbia, but then you need, because they're not part of the EU, you need a passport. And Switzerland is neutral, right? They're always doing their own thing. They didn't want to become part of the EU.
Switzerland.
But for the rest, it's fucking pretty cool, man. Because, like, for example, I could, I sit in my car, and then I drive to Czechoslovakia. And I fly through Austria, through Germany, through Czechoslovakia, and I don't have to show my passport.
Mm-hmm.
And just drive, right? Because I have the European Union placket on my car. The numbers thing. What's it called?
Yeah.
And when I was there, I did kind of get a glimpse of that, and it did seem like a really cool thing, because I was at the Airbnb I was staying at. There were two guys there who were from, one of them, I don't remember where one was from, and the other one was from France, and they came over. One came over for work, and he'd been there for a few months, and the other one just came over for like an internship. And I would imagine it wasn't that much hassle for them to just hop on over and then take the job, as opposed to, if you were in, I don't know, like in the U.S. and you wanted to take a job in Canada, it would be probably like a big issue, or even like you just mentioned, Darko. If you were maybe like in the Union and then wanted to do one of those things in those countries that are really close by but are not part of the Union, then you would have to have a bunch of hassle. I feel like
Mm.
it's almost like having access to a lot of different like planets, because I feel like in many senses like a lot of different countries are like worlds apart from each other in the way like that the culture is, or in the things that they pay attention to and the things that they don't pay attention to and all that.
Especially in Europe.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, man, because like like countries are like so fucking different, man. It's like fucking different culture. Like every like you know what I mean? Like you go like Austria is different, Germany is different, Switzerland is different. They speak all the same language. Then next to Austria is Italy. Boom. Then there's Slovenia. Then there's Croatia. Like they're like like again like two different. So Italy, Croatia, and Slovenia, 3 different languages. And the next to and Czechoslovakia, like they're like 4 different languages, and they're like next to the same state, and it's so fucking crazy when you think about it, man. So fucking crazy.
It's the magic of humans, really, right? We were looking at that Chitan video.
Did you watch it? That fucked me up. The best 12 minutes of my life. I'm gonna provide the link to it, man.
I couldn't see it completely because YouTube just don't want to work. Okay, but oh my god, really, you never know what's gonna happen in this place and what people. I was thinking like, who is this person inside this thing? And then I realized it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah. This is something else already. Like, this is Chitan, it's Chitan.
That's what I was thinking, because I was like, wow, there's this mascot, there's this person walking around in a plushie in this city, and he's like the mayor or something. He's like a celebrity there. But whoever's actually wearing the suit, like, I don't think anyone cares, and I think maybe to like a lot of people, there isn't anyone wearing the suit. It is that thing that actually exists. It is walking around doing its thing.
And it even got the real otter like deported or some shit like that. Like, what's going on?
Like with the baseball bat, like like fuck this thing. For people listening, Chitan, I don't know if you watched the newest episode of John Oliver. Mm-hmm. That he talks about Japan, and Japan has like basically for every shit a mascot, like for everything, right? Yeah. And this is like what's this town called, Suzuki, like the motorcycle, and there's like this otter who has like a mascot version of himself who wears a turtle as a head.
And the turtle is like smiling, but then Chitan, he or she like goes around like beating things with bats and that kind of stuff, so it's like this mascot like creating chaos, and people don't know how to stop it, so people are trying to like get rid of the so people are trying to get rid of this real life otter, because somehow the real life otter, the animal, brought to life this mascot that is walking around the Japan, fucking shit up and turning cars over and beating things with bats.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And that's what does the little otter have to do with this?
Yeah.
The otter was the ambassador for the town or city of Susaku. He was the ambassador, but the other his alter ego, you could say, ruined it for him.
I love. It's so crazy because I can't, maybe sports teams would be something along that line in the United States, but still it's not to that level, because the fact that people have no idea how to deal with this, like with this like mascot, who's like running around causing chaos, just goes to show like at the level that those mascots are held in the culture, that people can't just show up at this person's house and beat them up instead. It's like, how do we need to get rid of the source, we need to get rid of this animal that somehow manifested this mascot into existence.
It's like they have to
Right.
destroy the core, you know. They cannot just catch the person. They have to actually destroy
but
the
here's
image
the
and the
thing.
symbol.
But it's so funny because there's like, at the end of the day, it's easy to forget, right, that there's a real fucking person in there and not the fucking costume is doing the shit. It's the guy in there.
Or girl.
Like, put the guy into jail or like, or prosecute him, whatever. But then the question is, if you get rid of the person in the mask, in the costume, maybe somebody else is gonna take up the cape.
Holy shit! Can you imagine like
And the
they
legacy
do that
is on.
and then like 20 show up?
That's the power. That's the power of being like a real symbol. That's why they have to destroy the symbol, right? Because
I see.
Yeah, man. Understand. Yeah.
Holy
Understand.
shit!
Fuck,
Yeah, they
man.
become like their own. Yeah, they'd be unstoppable, man. They like 20 come up and then they try to stop 20, and then like a bunch more people like get into the suits, and then like they're their own country. They start running. They start running the shit.
Cheetah Town.
Yeah.
Cheetah Island.
They have like para like military like people like defending them with like rifles and stuff. It becomes its own militia.
Oh man. And you know who benefits the most out of this shit?
The town.
Nah, the guys who make the costumes, man. They're the ones.
Cosplayers.
They're the ones. They're the ones who like manipulated everything, the society and all this shit. They're actually the ones. It's like the warlords.
Yeah.
they're
I was just thinking that. I was thinking, in the
War
US,
profiteers, right?
Yeah, we have these like so much of the money in the US it's like spent on like the military that when you check Japan it's like most of the money's being spent on making this outfits.
Oh fuck yeah!
Weaponized outfits and all that. They just become unstoppable.
But I love the scene. Where he shows the video of like Chitan goes to your home, and then you see Chitan. They see Chitan opening a locker, pulling out a baseball bat, putting in his costume, and walking away.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that
fucking shit, man.
It almost suspends disbelief because like Chitan like lifts the outfit just so he or she can stick the bat on his leg or on their leg. So you see that there's like something inside the suit, and then just walks away with the bat on its leg.
And he gets away with the shit.
Yeah.
And but he throws a car. He pushes a car around.
Yeah.
Tops it over.
And all the flying kicks.
That was really funny, man. Like, what the fuck, man? Who is in this costume, man? Like, or does the costume give him power? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it, man. How can he throw a car? I mean, like, top it over.
He's a little van too.
But if you're surprised by the fact that he like flipped the car, I was even more surprised at the end when they were having sushi and they were holding chopsticks with the outfit. Like they still had the outfit on and they were grabbing like the fish with the chopstick. And I was like, holy shit! Like if these things get out into the world, no one's gonna be able to like do shit about them.
They can use chopsticks now.
Fuck, that's so true. And I love the fact when he says like he showed him how to make out of one stick 2 sticks. And the other guy was like, here's some soy sauce. It's too much soy sauce. He's like, no, it's not enough fish. It was fucking amazing. And I love the part when it says like, when they say, destroying alone is like bad, but destroying together is an act of creation.
Wow.
I was like, man, that sentence. I was like, I kind of like that.
Oh yeah,
kind of like that. I would like.
That's gonna be their what is it? Their motto when they start taking over the world.
Yes, destroy together.
For sure.
Destroy together. Destroy together.
It's an act of creation, man. I really, I don't know why, but really like, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that one. Fucking
was
Pokemon,
amazing.
man. Shit. Okay, guys, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Okay. I have some things. The quote: "The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool." By Richard P. Feynman. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that to light. And the other thing, our friend and listener and first feedbacker. I don't know if that's a real word.
Lucas, when you're listening, you're meant.
Yes, you. He said we should introduce ourselves, so I think it's a good moment to introduce ourselves right now. I am Eduardo, or Eduardo.
I'm Darko.
I'm Darko.
No, I'm Darko.
And then I'm Rafa.
Yes, and I guess I'm just
Okay,
Eduardo because I already gave myself a shit.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to? I don't get it. Like, do you want me to be somebody else?
No, you can be
Should we
Darko
switch
for
every
today.
week?
Hey, those are big relationship questions. That give me chills just when you ask it. No, you can be
Rafa.
yourself, all right?
Rafa. Do you remember the time when we played outside with like the shining ball, the frisbee?
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
changed names, like, and like, you know, like, oh, now I'm this guy, like, and now we have to call this name if you mean this person, and just make it super fucking confusing.
This is just like that. So Edward, we had this game where we were throwing this. It was the middle of the night, so we couldn't see shit.
Alright.
And we were throwing this like glowing ball at the sky. And as you were throwing it, you needed to say someone's name, and that person needed to run into the middle and grab the ball. Now, at some point, we said, okay, let's shift the names one to the left, and then that just like fucking destroyed the game because no one could remember who they were, and you know, someone would say a name, and it would be like themselves, or like multiple people would run in, or no one would run in. You know, it just broke everything.
I was so fun. Yeah, multiple
That
people or
sounds-
nobody. Yeah.
The right
Oh
way
fuck
to
yeah!
do it.
So for the people who are listening, it's important that you know, like 3 people are in the show: Rafa, Edward, and Darko. But who is who? That you have to find out for yourself.
In
Find
the next
out on the next
episode.
episode.
Probably at the end when it doesn't matter anymore.
Anyways, yeah, if you're like a first-time listener and you enjoyed this, please subscribe and tell
Tell your
mom.
girlfriend to subscribe. In fact,
Yeah.
you unsubscribe and have her subscribe.
And if you don't have a girlfriend,
Yes.
then that's because, you know, you haven't
Subscribe.
listened to us enough. You haven't subscribed. And what are you doing with your life? Also, you can have a boyfriend if you want.
We-
I don't care.
Yeah, like we don't judge. We don't judge.
I don't really.
Just make sure that they
Have to.
subscribe.
Yeah. You have to be in a relationship with the other person, otherwise it doesn't count. so if you want somebody else to subscribe, you have first to start a relationship with the person. You know, you have to get them out for dinner, romance them a little bit, and then you can push them over with your phone and be like, hey, check this out.
I mean,
Hey baby, check this out.
I know it's a little bit soon. But I feel your passion.
one level of non-commitment.
If you want to meet my parents, you need to subscribe.
I never felt so far